PennsylvaniaBeer.com and Bison Beverage of Lewisburg presents Beer Time.
Beer Time. I'm your host, Scott Bernstein. Chad Evans on the couch.
Hey, Scotty.
We are here with Jeff Antolick.
This is awesome.
How you doing?
Great,
man?
Scott. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Looking forward to you. Good baseball guy. Yep. Obviously, you're watching the playoffs right now. Yep. You got to be loving it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get a better time of the year. You got playoff baseball, you got college football going on, NFL going on. So yeah, but I've enjoyed the Major League playoffs for sure.
Well, one thing we got to do is we got to get out front here. Jeff played with the Yankees. He was Derek Jeter's first roommate. He's got some stories, but before we get into it, you got to try one of these. Available at the Bison Beverage. It's Outlaw. It is $14.99 for a 24-pack. And here comes my man. Oh, good hands. Right in front of the mic. That was a bad throw.
Terrible throw.
Did you like my technique?
I did. I saw you did thread the needle to get it over there. Nicely done. Nicely done. Yep.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Got a live one.
I got to open this pig.
All right.
We are ready for my foaming disasters. All right, Jeff. Give me a little bit of your resume. Why are you here today?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. Actually, yeah. Obviously, from a baseball perspective, I know we've obviously connected, many years ago. But yeah, I had a chance to play college baseball at Lafayette. And then was drafted by the Yankees and played in the prime of their time. I never made it to the big leagues, but made it up to Double-A and did that through the mid-'90s, late '90s, which was a perfect time because that's when they went on their run. And I got a chance to meet and play with a lot of the guys that won a World Series.
Now, you shared a bullpen with Rivera?
I did.
Okay, was Posada in there?
So Pettit and Posada were 1 year ahead of both Jeter and Mariano. So I played with Jeet and Mo throughout the minor leagues.
Now, who was the left-hand Pettit? Was
Pettit.
Pettit in that group?
Yeah, he was 1 year ahead.
Was he a good beer drinker?
You know what? I don't think so. He didn't drink a lot of beer at that time. No.
He laid low.
No, he did lay low.
Did Derek?
He did not. No, actually, it's a funny story. The one time he wanted to go out and we'd have some beers, he said, listen, Tolly, which was my nickname, he's like, can you drive? He said, because I'm going to have a couple beers and you can drive us back from Ybor City. We went. So
that's down Tampa.
Down Tampa. Yeah, we're down there for getting ready for spring training. And that's it. Yeah, he was not a beer drinker at all. Nope, he kind of laid low as well and focused on what he wanted to do.
Now, let's talk a little bit about beer and baseball. They go together. What was it? The Phillies. You're a Phillies fan. What did they have?
Phillies
Schmitz, Schlitz, Schaefer, Schitz. What are the beers of the Phillies? I think it's Yuengling today.
Well, it's Yuengling
correct?
now.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know 1,000%.
Okay.
But I would imagine some kind of Philly beer.
Well, I Googled Major League Baseball what their beer is, and they say it's Budweiser and Corona. What is that?
Yeah.
I mean, are they sharing it?
Yeah, they must be. But yeah, I know we drank whatever was cheap in the minor leagues. Whatever we could buy the cheapest, that's what we would have.
Now, what was the best atmosphere of drinking in the minor leagues?
I mean, I think I would have to say it was probably my second year when we were playing in Greensboro, North Carolina. It was the Greensboro Hornets, and it was War Memorial Stadium, and the owners decided to build an outdoor bar in left field. And at that time, it was the largest outdoor bar in all of North Carolina.
Oh, geez.
So, I mean, as you can imagine.
Was the drinking age still 19 then? Because when I played baseball in college in North Carolina, it was 19.
Yeah.
It was great.
No, I'm not that old. I think it was 21 still.
Hey, so here you go. Schmitz, Schlitz, Ballantine. Ballantine?
Ballantine?
Valentine.
Yeah, I remember seeing the beer.
Yeah. There you go.
Ballantine beer. Yeah, my folks had the Ballantine beer sign growing up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Really?
I grew up in a beer family, I'd like to think.
Where'd you grow up?
Drums, Pennsylvania.
Drums, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, your son was a great pitcher.
Yep.
Isn't he currently at Coastal Carolina?
He's at East Carolina.
East Carolina,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he started his freshman year, went to Texas A&M, and then after the College World Series, in which they lost in the final game, the coaches left and went to Texas. And he didn't want to follow there, so he decided to enter the transfer portal and kind of get into that game of NIL and everything that was going on.
How do you do with the NIL?
Yeah, I mean,
how's that work?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's I've learned a ton over the last couple of years.
I bet you have.
It's really two categories. You have the SEC and ACC NIL money, and then you have everybody else.
Gotcha.
And the SEC and ACC will pay big dollars in NIL to kind of build their roster and even have players on it that may not be starters, but kind of hold them there for if they need them. Where the other schools are kind of like, hey, we can offer you, $20,000, $40,000 in NIL, but you're going to be one of our top players coming in on that. So that's where he fell. He decided to go to like in East Carolina, and of course they gave him a full ride, and then they gave him $20,000 in NIL, and which is pretty neat. I mean, again, you think back, gosh,
That's
and I was
good
in
money,
college.
man.
Like, yeah,
Being in college, come on. I had $4 to get a little cheesesteak. I was excited.
Little box macaroni and cheese.
What was your signing bonus with the Yankees?
Yeah,
How big was it?
Yeah, at
10, 15?
Well, at that time it was 35,000.
You got
when I
35,000.
signed, yeah.
What'd you do with it?
Yep. Well, how it works then, they gave it to me. They split up into 2 different payments. I bought my first car, which was at that time, I think, a Chevy Cavalier Z24,
Okay.
which was great. And then literally in the minor leagues, like you use that to kind of survive until you get to the big leagues.
You make no money.
Right.
What was it, $1,200 a month?
Yeah, first
Playing?
year
You
it
had
was
5 months of playing time?
Yeah, first year was $850 a month, and then it went to $1,000, then $1,250, then $1,500 in double A.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So I just want to talk baseball for a second with Jeff. So when you played, you were a starting pitcher at first, right?
Correct.
And then you went to mid relief, or
After my second year, I was injured. Then I went to the relief, and that's when Mariano Rivera was the starter. And then it's funny, when he got called up, then I went back in to be a starter after that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Second question: tell us a couple people you struck out.
Oh, yeah.
Give us some
boy.
good names.
Big name. I want big names.
Come on.
Gosh, let me think. I mean, probably the biggest one I know was Nomar Garcia Parra.
Struck out
I
Nomar.
struck out Nomar. Yep, when we had played.
No more. Did
No
you
more,
give
no
him
more.
the finger wag?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest one that I can.
That's a good one to leave on too.
Yeah.
That's a big name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nomar.
Hey,
That's so cool.
the only famous person I ever played against that I had any success is I got a double off of Stan Belinda in college. That was
nice.
about it. That's
Yep.
all I got.
Yep.
Screamer down the line.
Yep, legged it out.
Well, you take what you can get, really.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Jeff? I know you're a baseball junkie.
No, I'm going to keep popping in.
We're
once in a
all
while.
reeling after the Phillies loss.
Yeah.
Okay, this is airing obviously after the Phillies loss. What do you think the Phillies' problem is?
Yeah, I mean, there's such a small margin between the elite players and the ones that are just a step down. And when you play a 5-game series, I mean, you could just head into somebody that's playing well, and the Mets are playing really well.
Oh, yeah.
Their pitching relief was tough, clutch hitting, and that's quite frankly the opposite of what the Phillies didn't have. They didn't have any clutch hitting, and their relief was just awful. But that's baseball. That's how it goes. Nobody wins 162 games in a series, or in a season. If you can win 100, that's pretty darn good, but you still lost in 62. So that's how it is in pro ball.
Now, when you were in the minors, did you have some guys that just partake in it a little too much? I mean, it just probably F their career up.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. I mean, I shouldn't say a lot of them, but certainly, you see it, I think, in 2 times. Once when they're really young, when you're playing A-ball and you have this freedom and you're getting paid to play baseball, you're signing autographs, and some guys really got into that. And then I think the second time is when they get to the big leagues, and now it's at a whole different level and a whole different level of popularity. That's where you saw guys also at that time kind of like, wow, really indulge, whether it be New York City or wherever they're playing, and end up kind of their career ends quickly at that point.
Now, is that the reason why they give you your bonus in 2 separate paychecks?
Yeah, let's see if you can stick around here for a little bit and kind of stretch it out.
Okay. Now, growing up playing baseball, you played basketball too.
Yep.
Now, you played for Lafayette.
Correct.
And you played your first couple years at Lafayette. Did you start at all?
I did, yeah. I actually went to Lafayette to play basketball on a basketball scholarship, but knowing that I could play baseball there as well. That was kind of the goal,
Right.
to play D1 at both. But yeah, I started my sophomore year. We weren't great. We lost a bunch of games, but ended up in the spring having elbow surgery and had to sit out. Then I sat out the fall for basketball and then just played baseball my junior year.
But you're a season ticket holder at Bucknell. You're a Bucknell fan.
I am.
But you played in the old Davis Stadium. Was that a dump?
Yeah, it was.
Come on, you be honest with us.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I'll admit, yeah, it wasn't good. No,
Were
it
the
was-
fans on top of you?
They were right on top of you. Yeah, good
I
thing
think
they
that
didn't
would be
serve
good.
beer then. Yeah, that's for sure at those games. But yeah, they're right on top of you.
Oh, man, I can't wait for the season ahead. I think they're going to have a good season.
I do too. I mean, obviously Griffin I think is doing a great job, and
yeah.
we can't wait to. We're season ticket holders, my wife and I, and really looking forward
Now,
to
where
it.
do you sit compared to where I sit?
So we're actually completely diagonal from where you are. We're behind the players' bench, back up a little bit further, maybe 5 rows from the top.
Now, it's where a lot of family sits.
Yes.
Do you hear the chirping?
Not really, no. I mean, I can tell you, they're incredibly supportive of the team there. And even the family that sits behind, they're always cheering on. It's fun because you can kind of figure out whose parent is who when they make a good play and then they're cheering them on. So,
well, I sit polar opposite you on the other side.
Right.
And remember Nana Fallon?
Yeah.
Oh, big Nana Fallon. His girlfriend / fiance, I think it's his wife now. We would hear her.
Oh, yeah.
All the way over there.
Yeah.
And it had this like fingernails on a chalkboard kind of a sound. And we'd be like, oh my God, someone stop her. I can't handle it anymore.
I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. What?
I can't do it anymore.
I almost picked up and threw a shoe at her.
Yeah.
And I'm like 100 feet away.
yeah, you could pick her out easily.
Well, you got to finish your beer. Do you
All right.
chug?
No, I'm not a chugger, no.
You're not a chugger?
No,
Well, you got to ask Tolly, like, what does he do now? Like, what? So after baseball,
It's all boring now. We make a living. We make a living. We wake up, we kiss our wife on the cheek and we go to work.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. What do you do now?
I've been I'm a sales manager in pharmaceuticals. Yep, so I've been doing that for almost 20 years now.
Is it
post-baseball.
medical equipment or pharmaceuticals?
Pharmaceuticals.
Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Good money in that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a good living, as you said. Yeah, it's a good living.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming in. Any other questions you want, Chad, before we release this gentleman?
I have a zillion questions, but Tolly answered them for me. I got all the answers I need.
Well, just remember, when you go down to the Bison Beverage, you got Outlaw Beer. It's out of Colorado.
Yep.
It's $14.99 a 24-pack, and it's not bad. It's a cleaned up PBR. I told you that's what it was. That's what it tastes like. It doesn't have that canny, tinny taste or anything.
It's like putting perfume on a pig.
Yeah.
That's what it's like here. But it's drinkable for sure.
It is drinkable. It's drinkable.
At that price.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you very much. Bison Beverage, PennsylvaniaBeers.com. We thank you, and thank you for coming to Beer Time. I'll see you.
PennsylvaniaBeer.com and Bison Beverage of Lewisburg presents Beer Time.
This podcast was produced by Stone State Entertainment.